is up, everybody? Oh, geez, my chair is slumped. There we go. That's better. What is up, everybody? It is I, the saltiest gaijin. Oh, excuse me. Alright, so we're going to be continuing to play some more Explorer. Sadly, we will not be bringing you your normal budget battle episode installment, but we are going to still be playing some Explorer this week, albeit in a solo stream, and I think there's a lot to try here. So on Tuesday, we went 5-1 on the ladder, just playing this 4-color Fires deck. Made a few tweaks to it at the end, just kind of based on how things were feeling, and we're definitely going to want to try this out some more. And then we also, we didn't get as many matches in, because surprisingly they took longer. But we played this Jund Ob Nixilis deck, and this deck felt pretty strong. We did cut the Croxas out of the main deck, and I could see making a few, other changes, but definitely a big fan of this strategy as well. Be interesting to see if it has the kind of staying power that we need here. Some other decks that I am curious about trying. I've seen a couple versions of Winota running around, and I would like I think I'd like to put my hat in the race and build a Winota deck, which I think we'll start off here doing, because I think that's I've seen a lot of versions of this deck. Winota Brew. So we'll start with our titular cards. I do think that the core of the deck is playing 1-mana creatures that make mana, so like Llanowar Elves, and Winota. So that's like, and then like how the humans you hit and all that stuff. I think right now the best one is definitely the Huntmaster. Alright. So we will start there. There's some other good ones we could hit. There's definitely a lot of very strong... So a lot of lists I look at, I see Gilded Goose is the other 1-mana creature of choice, and I think the logic behind that holds up really well. However, I actually think I am more inclined to be in the camp where we play Jaspera Sentinel. I'm struggling to find my J's, as it turns out. There we are. Because when we play Jaspera Sentinel, we do get to play Magda. And I think we also get to play the Innkeeper. So I kind of like that we get to... This, like, leans into playing this, which is a fine enough card on its own, and, to be fair. So we've got 24 creatures, so I think we need other human payoffs. So we could go with a card like Angrath's Marauder. I think that's a fine card. Play 2 of those, and I still think Brutal Cathar is probably where we'll want to be as far as like another human hit. And then even, like, I'm not as big of a fan of Blade Historian. I actually think I like something like Angrath's Marauders a lot better. But another one I could see playing is Agent of Treachery. I could see easily going like this. So this puts me at 4, 8, 12, well, I guess 15-ish hits when I go with Winota. Actually, I think I'm fairly happy just maximizing this. We don't have any effects that let us put cards back on the top of our deck, do we? I don't think so. Let's see. Let's do I do think a card that we can play, though, at least somewhere in our 75, are some Fire Prophecies. So this puts us at where we're probably going to be on like 23 lands. I think we'll build out our mana base first. Feels like we can easily play at least a singleton Boseiju. Imagine we're on all 8 of our green shock lands. It's probably just like every like untapped green land that we can play that also can be played to fix our colors. Like that all feels fairly accurate. And what else could we be playing? Oh, you know what? Actually, mages. This thing. I don't know how good this thing is, but I think we're gonna try it. 60. I don't know if this is a 4-of, but I definitely think we play some number of them. And I think we can play... I actually think it's Inspiring Vantage. And then some Sacred Foundries. I don't think Needle Verge Pathway is exactly all that cracked or anything like that. 22 lands, that seems fine. I mean, we have a lot of ways to generate early mana, so we really only need to hit 3 land drops during a game, so I think this should be good. Sideboard options, goodness. Well, I think a big part of a lot of people's answers to what we're going to be doing... destroy target artifact. So, like... it feels like we could do a few things here. So a big way of dealing with the Winota deck are cards like Containment Priest and Grafdigger's Cage. So it feels like a Braid is a fairly easy choice for us. We just play a couple of copies of a Braid, just gives us an answer to Grafdigger's Cage. It also gives us an answer to Containment Priest. So those both just sort of seem like fairly natural fits. I also think I might like a copy of Night of Autumn. Buy a copy or 2. I think we go with 2 of Braids, because then I also really like... Flame Bless Bolt. This card's really, really good. So this gives me, you know, 4 answers to Containment Priest, as well as 4 answers to Grafdigger's Cage, while also giving me a variety of things I can bring in against, like, say, other style strategies. Very important in a deck like this, where you're not going to be siding out a lot of cards, that you want very flexible sideboard options. What are we going to do against other Winota decks, I guess? So, feels like we could get away with playing, either Red Cat Melee? I think it's Red Cat Melee. This is also good against the mono red decks. We also specifically need ways to deal with other Winotas. Red Cat Melee is slightly better than Chandra's Defeat, at least I think at this format. We're like dealing with Winotas. I doubt we'll see a lot of other Angrath Marauders, but in a pinch this can kill other things. I also think, oh gosh, what the hell is the name of the card? Heals 1. There's a couple of other cards. Like Blazing Volley wouldn't be bad. Might be a little overboarding situation, but I'm not entirely sure what other matchups we really... Because a lot of matchups are going to be very much like we're just going to be just, you know, sort of putting the blinders on and just doing their thing. What we put over here, Drannith Magistrate is an interesting one. Cemetery Gatekeeper, Scavenging Ooze, all interesting cards. So why don't we head back So I definitely feel like I want the Blazing Volley. Cut the Seiju. I think we'll just have one Blazing Volley, and then I think, yeah, like a Gatekeeper. Cemetery Gatekeeper. We're an aggressive deck. We gotta keep that in mind. And this is a solid aggressive 2-drop that can provide us with ways to deal with cards in graveyards. I think Scavenging Ooze is also a solid option. These are creatures that trigger Winota, but also give us another utility, similar to Knight of Autumn in that regard. And I definitely like the idea of Deafening Silence. Actually, Archon. Archon of Emeria. It's a really solid card against any Galvanic iteration decks, which there are a few, as well as it's really, really good at tapering off things like the Fires of Invention decks, because you stop, they're already restricted to casting 2, but restricting them to casting 1 is especially good. So they are going to be casting some really big, really powerful things. So I think we'll start by playing the Winota deck, just to try it out, and see, so we could say we did for science. Alpo! Nice to see ya. We're playing some Explorer. Hey, thanks for the subscription. Appreciate you, Alpo. It's 2 months. I believe that's actually 2 months in a row. Look at that. Paired up into Diamond. This is a good hand. Oh, that was a really good draw. Jasper Sentinel. We are going to have to take some damage here. It's not free. But next turn we can play Magda. Tap for a mana, get a treasure. Play the Innkeeper. Have another treasure. Play the old Magda. Feels like they might have an answer to our Sentinel. Yep. No, they don't. Some mana. Oh, I don't think they understood how that worked, maybe. That must have been it. So here we've set up nicely. We've got 3 creatures to trigger this Winota. 2 creatures to trigger this Winota. Yeah, that feels very much like they didn't understand what Jasper, Sentinel, and Magda do together. Opponent looks like they're probably, okay, they're on Rakdos, sure. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just play Winota. Gain 1 life. Can't win them all, right? Here I'm gonna go ahead and just play. I'll play the Llanowar Elves. Gains me a life back, and it actually sets us up to be able to cast this Tovolar's Huntmaster. Sure. It's also gain us a bunch of life, which is good. Definitely feel like we're in a good position, regardless. Yeah, looks like we're flipping this Huntmaster whether we like it or not, I guess. Sure. See if they can flip my Huntmaster back. Well, they're flooding too, huh? So I think a Winota off the top just like will shut this game down pretty quickly. Cast that one too much. We're actually not that far off of it, believe it or not. But well, I think here, yeah, we're just gonna swing with the pack leader. I don't really have exactly good blocks, so because I'll just have like I can have these wolves fight blockers. So you know this is probably a chump block up from our opponent if they're blocking. It's that or you're taking it. So and if they had an answer, they would have played it by now. Am I gonna get 1, 2? I am gonna get punished for having not played my land. Is this a double block? So let's do some quick math. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Yep, should have played my land. Got punished. Ooh, they even have a fatal push. Interesting. Not out of the woods yet. Still, a Winota off the top probably will end this game pretty quickly, because I think this almost gets all the way through our whole library. A way to make treasures would also probably end this game pretty quickly, because then we'll take probably the reflection of Kiki-Jiki, start making copies of Agent of Treachery. Well, that's not exactly that. Alright, deck. Can we draw something relevant? This feels like a make a graveyard glutton attack for 8. It's pretty easy. Pretty easy choice. I will have to double block at least the regular one. Actually, I'll triple block it to clarify, but... Well, now I won't, because now I just don't have to bother respecting it, but... Okay, so I'm gonna go to 10. Block here, take 5. Unfortunate, but I do think I'm also gonna have to go. Actually, I think it's the land worlds. Like we're block the goblin. I think those are our only blocks. This is gonna die. That lets us cast Agent of Treachery, so... We're gonna take that reflection of Kiki-Jiki. Now we will aggressively block, but... Because here now we'll just start making copies of Agent of Treachery every turn. Attack with the token copy, no reason to attack with anything else. Pass the turn. You have to draw 3 cards next turn. Ah, so they have fatal push. That's fine. This is all upside to begin with, so. Brutal Cathar. It is currently nighttime, huh? Whatever. Still a 3/3 with first strike. It gains me 2 life, so. I don't really. Oh, got nothing, huh? Definitely feels like this is still our game to win, so I'm not too worried about it. Yeah, that's probably enough. At this point, I don't even care if they trade with the Agent of Treachery. Boom, look at that. Alright, so this is Rakdos. I'm assuming mid-range. I didn't see Ob Nixilis. I should probably assume they're on it, though. But maybe not. I doubt these versions play many Ob Nixili. However, I did see Blood Tithe Harvester, Fable of the Mirror Breaker, Graveyard Trespasser. I'll assume they're playing Croxus. So you can go a few ways here. I do think Scavenging Ooze is a good late game card. Feels like we could bring in some Abrades. What's bad against them? Probably the Sentinel. Actually, it's probably Magda comes out first. Right? Yeah, because Magda's good, but like Magda is like the softest. Maybe we keep a couple in. I actually don't really like Brutal Cathar as much. Like, this is really good, but Brutal Cathar is a little questionable. I think we'll even bring in Flame Blast Bolts. Just like, there's also the world where you like really just don't go in for the combo with these decks, or you just like be like a Naya. Still an aggressive deck, but like with more mid-rangey play patterns. This is a Snap Mulligan. This is a Snap Keep, though. We've got the combo. I think we put back a copy of Jasper Sentinel here. I'll play Jasper Sentinel. There's a chance they're just gonna kill whatever we play anyways, though. That's a good one. So I could go a conservative route where I play the Scavenging Ooze and have one green up, but I think I'm gonna go the aggressive route. Make a green, tap Magda. Just play another mana creature down. So if they have something like Thoughtseize. You're gonna get to take Winota and then the Scavenging Ooze. So unless they have like another 2-mana threat on top of this, or like a Fatal Push that they're gonna cast twice, which that would be the really devastating play. You keep looking at my cards. Make a decision. You either Fatal Push something or you don't Fatal Push anything. Like, you have to go for the Thoughtseize. It's an easy Scavenging Ooze. No blocks. Interesting. Well, I ain't afraid of no ghosts, so I'm gonna swing in for 4. Our opponent really needs to learn to play faster. Like, this is kind of silly, to be honest. Alright, I'll play me just a time. So, yeah, like, that should have probably just happened on their own turn. I doubt, if I was our opponent, I wouldn't even have probably played the, I could counter that, but I'm actually more interested in countering this. And then trading with the, or blocking the... this point, I just have to make aggressive plays. If I rip a Winota off the top, we're in really good shape because we'll be able to trigger her 3 times, but I feel like, wow, never mind. That's, we're not going to be able to do nothing now, but we can just keep drawing lands. I feel like for a 22 land deck, we've definitely drawn way too many lands. Those are like 63% to draw anything else. And albeit, we do have some duds in our deck, like Angarath's Marauders, but sure, take 2. Play a land. 2, 4, 5. I mean, I don't even mind. Like, if I draw another land, I'll just play this. Like, I'll play Angarath's Marauder. If they have a kill spell for it, I mean, they got it, but I just have to play the things. I can't sit with the cards in my hand here. Yep, taking 2. Well, that's a good one. That's the one we don't mind playing off the top of our library, because it at least makes bodies. So even like if our opponent doesn't have an answer to Tovolar's Huntmaster, that's bad news bears for them. Worst case scenario is they hit something like a decent attacker and they can start sending it across. Yeah, you got it. That felt like it was purely so that this Tovolar Huntmaster didn't flip. I think I'll leave the 6/6 back, but I'm willing to send the 2 across. Next turn, I'll start attacking Huntmaster. I'm not interested in I'm just gonna keep the 6/6. I could let it flip here. I don't think that would be bad, but it's fine. Bother. No reason to attack. Why? Well, I guess, like, yeah, it makes a thing on their turn. They do that during the end step? Yeah. I don't think there's a reason to go down to 3 here. Looks like they have some way of dealing with Tovolar's Huntmaster. You have a deadly dispute. Feels like you did that in combat. You have a crippling fear. Sure. Gross. You know, Dak, you could really fucking toss me some bones here. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, a Scavenging Ooze would be so good. Yep. Oh, you're good, Alpo. No worries. Jesus fucking Christ. Can I just draw a goddamn, like, relevant card? I'd take, like, an Abrade here. Like, well, they got a Hive, so we're probably just dead. Well, I mean, that changes it. Comes down as a 7/7 this time. Have to block here. double block, and then the game is over. Opponent's just going through needless motions. Okay, really? Is that any better? Is that audio coming through? Okay, interesting. I don't know why it's doing that. Let me take a peek here at some of my stuff. Why is my audio not coming through well? How is that? Is that any better? I think that should be better. Yeah. Should be coming through my... It is coming through my headset, not my webcam like it defaulted to yesterday. Changed up the mixer a little bit, so I should be coming through louder than the music. Anybody in the chat, let me know if I'm having any audio problems. I'll continue to troubleshoot. Alright. Well, that went well. Those Rakdos mid-range decks are... I've played a lot of them in Pioneer, like, proper, but, I don't have a lot of faith in them, we'll say. These, especially now. Like, now there's, like, a laundry list of reasons to build your Rakdos mid-range decks in a very specific way. Typically revolving around the card Omnath, but... I'm sorry, Ob Nixilis, rather. I keep mixing those up when I talk about them. But, yeah, no, like, very, like, it feels like, you know, cards like Graveyard Trespasser are probably just a little too slow. I feel like you could get away with that card in, like, a... This is a mulligan. You could get away with that card more so in... Jesus. Things like Golgari mid-range, where you play, like, mana creatures. Okay, so this is like an Is It Drake's deck? Okay, really? Am I just gonna draw, like, complete ass on this mulligan? I swear, if there's a fucking Agent of Treachery on the top of my deck, I'm gonna lose my mind. Oh no, it's just the card I wanted to play on turn 1. Play a Land Worlds. Trigger. We got one trigger on a Winota. I have no idea what the fuck we're playing against. Makes sense. Sadly, some of our Winota hits are in our hand, and one's on the bottom of our library, but... Still got things like Brutal Cathar would be good. Agent of Treachery, that's the one we haven't seen, and that would be very strong. Matter of fact, that would actually just take a land here. More than likely. Wow. Such stimuli. God fucking damn it. Like, I've drawn every payoff. Can I just draw a land for once? I know I was flooding the last 2 games. Whatever. Playing against fucking do-nothings McGee over here. This, when is this? So 2 out of 8. 4 mana, so ain't happening. Not, at least not this turn. Okay, this feels like a super obvious I'm playing against Winota. Yep. Yeah, you got it, bud. Attack, trigger. Do we hit anything? Hit a Brutal Cathar, that's not nothing. Not gonna call them amazing hits, but they were hits. Fucking all the payoffs in our hand. That feels like if you lose to me having what was a fairly shitty hand, like I worry about what our opponent's deck looks like. All right, Terramander plus Izzet cards, but they are playing. To be fair, they're playing a bunch of 1-mana removal, so I wouldn't doubt if they're like just Drakes or like attempting to be a Phoenix deck. I think I could bring in the Archons. I don't really like Brutal Cathar against a deck that's just loaded up with 1-mana removal. I think we probably bring in... It's probably our own Flame Blast Bolts. We can, like, trim some Mage's Attendants. I don't even think I want to play any of them at all. I think I'll play Cemetery Gatekeeper, though. I really like the card Cemetery Gatekeeper, and I'm going to keep trying it in different strategies until it's good. But, it's been tough. It's been tough going for that card. I'm going to keep this, not because I think it's the most amazing hand in the world, but because it has a turn 2. God fucking damn it. Why, deck? Just why? Just why? Why do you hate me? Just stop drawing the payoffs and start drawing the Winotas and enough ways to put Winotas into play. Double Terramander. Alright, hit me for 1. Go to my turn. Alright. I'm glad that we had to play that exceptionally fucking slowly. This is so stimulating. I don't know if it's just that I've gotten so used to playing against people who play super fast, but like, I swear to God, people on Arena have been playing it so goddamn slowly lately that, like, it's honestly, it's really making it hard for me to enjoy playing as much as I used to. Just given that, like, 95% of the time I feel like I'm fucking chewing on my knuckle, doing nothing, while my opponents sit there and eat their clock down. Like, even right now, like, I have 3 more minutes almost on my clock. It's like 2 more minutes on my clock than my opponent does. And, like, I feel like I've taken more relevant game actions. Oh, no, thank you. Winota. Nope, okay. I don't know why I thought it would be, but I had hope for a second. Yeah, I'll just play this. Let me play this. Lets me play the Hunt Master. 4, this is 8, so they can start leveling those up. I'm gonna just attack for 2. I'm not. Yeah, you got it, brother. Can you actually show me what the fuck you're playing? Sokenzan, that doesn't help. I get why decks play this, because it's, quote, free, but that ability has never felt very good. Alright. Yes, you can evolve one. You can do it. Okay, you're just not gonna do it. Alright. I fucking tried. This is so irritating. Yeah, I'll just play a Tovolar's on Master, and then you'll counterspell? Counterspell? Counterspell. No counterspell. No attacks. Because I can read. Cast another 1-mana spell. In their last minute and a half, I've taken 30 seconds worth of game actions. I feel like that should have happened on their own, like, somewhere else in the turn. I doubt, like, God, my brain hurts Because our opponents are playing so slowly. And it really, it shouldn't bug me as much as it does. But when you've played as long as somebody like me has, like, it does just really eat away at your insides. Where you're just like, wow, I just want to fucking beat my head against the wall. Alright. They got 2 5/5s and a 1/1? Sure. I'm assuming they're just waiting until they can, you know, hit me for, you know, 15 or whatever, but they're at a point where I feel like, okay. Yay, we did it. You did it. Can you not play fucking slowly? You got it, brother. You can't attack with everything, because you'll die in the crackback. You send one of these across and pass the turn, and then I come at you with just bad intent. I'm so happy that they resolved their expressive iteration. Alright, you attack with one of them. Nope, okay. Well, it's fine, because I'll never draw a fucking Winota to save my goddamn life, but hey. Don't you worry about it, opponent. If I rip a Magda or a Prosperous Innkeeper, I can take one of these. This has reach, so I actually have another chump blocker. What the fuck is that? Well, I mean, I could also just draw Llanowar Elves, which I'm pretty sure that's my third Llanowar Elves. Nope, it's only my second. So if I attack, what happens? They double block, I kill a 5/5? If I attack with both, what happens? They double block, kill me on the crackback? What happens? Block, block, boom. Block, block, boom. I kill the 5/5. I kill a 5/5. They got 6 power. If I rip a Winota, I do well. Tovolar's Huntmaster is basically never going to flip unless I make it flip, and I'm not really interested in doing that. Alright, I'll attack for 12. Easy blocks. Easy blocks for our opponent. Shit ain't rocket science. Kill the 5/5. Kill the 5/5. Let's clean up this battlefield a little bit. Just think they could have been chipping in for 5. Sure. Sure. Nope. Didn't think so. Attack for 6. Just gonna Flame Bless Bolt 1. Just chip in while I can. Alright, there's a Winota on top of my deck. I feel like they could be playing a lot more aggressively and they would have won by now, but instead they decided to be... Nope, just more Agent of Treacheries. Like, that was probably a good turn to get in with their Den of the Bugbear. So here I have to chump block. I think we chump block with Archon. I think that's correct. Jesus fucking Christ. Well, apparently now it's an even better time to get in with it, so... I'm willing to go to 1. Show me a play with fire. Kill me. Kill me. Do it. Just get it over with. Fuck. Just play faster or something. Oh, seriously? I'm short of mana? Oh, I can't cast more than one spell? Chump block, chump block. Yeah, I should be fine for a turn. Never mind. They have 2 flying attackers to my 1 flying blocker. Yeah, that's fine. I fucking hate our opponent, but not for... Only because they took 5 more minutes than I did to play a game that should have been done a lot sooner. Bring in the Abrades. Like, that game should not have taken as long as it did, and they should have just been playing more aggressively. I get they might be learning their deck, but that's no excuse to play, where you're taking up, no less than twice as much time as your opponent on their clock. Alright. Keep. Put a land back. Llanowar Elves, pass. Play the Archon right away. Just cast your 1 mana instant. Jesus. Just do it. Get it over with. Nope, you didn't even have it. You didn't even have it. Why were you getting priority if you didn't even have it? Play this on green. Next turn we can play the Winota. Okay, so they clearly had it and they just didn't play it. Why? I have no goddamn idea. Did they not know how this card works? Well, sad news. Can't hit an Angrath's Marauder anymore. Yeah, now they have counter spells. Naturally, they have counter magic in their deck after playing, the game for fucking 8 million turns. Jesus Christ, I need a drink. Agent of Treachery. Can I hit something decent? Nope, I hit another goddamn Winota. Of course I hit a Winota. Why else would I hit anything? Why would I hit anything else? Why would anything else be on the top of my goddamn library? Damn, naturally, you got it, brother. This is exhausting. This is why I don't, to be honest, this is why I will never play this card in, any competitive event. Because, I fucking hate cards like this as, a design. But I will be the first to tell you how good it can be as a deck, but, it's so frustrating to play, when you're staring at 2 shitty cards that you could be... even if these were Tovolar's Huntmasters, it would still just be terrible. Speak of the devil, you draw the payoff that you really, really needed to have in your hand. Well, I mean, if you have it, you should have been probably playing it on your own turn. Yeah, you got it. No attacks. Fuck. Are you gonna make faster plays? I feel like a lot of the decisions our opponent has been making aren't, particularly complicated. They're the don't lose kind of situations, and they seem to take forever to really reach their conclusions. Nice. I'm so happy that we could sit here and wait for our opponent to resolve their connives trigger. Kills my Winota. No attacks. You know, honestly, I just wish our opponent would play faster and just fucking kill me already. Like last game went on probably 6 minutes longer than it had to because they just didn't play aggressively enough. And this game, again, they're just, like, they could be attacking me for 2. Like, they would be totally correct to be doing it. Yeah, you got it. You know what? I don't want to play anymore because I'm not having fun with this experience, so I'm just gonna save myself the precious 20 minutes my opponent was probably going to take to play the rest of that third game and just go on to my next match. Because that would be a better use of everybody's time. Play first. It's as good as it probably will get. It's fine. I have 17 Tovalar's Hunt Masters on top of my library, so... Jaspera Sentinel, go. A deck that is probably just blue-white control. Green. Play the Innkeeper. Rip a Winota, win the game immediately. Let's go. Nice. Not nice. You very clearly... Oh, you just have no answers. Okay, that works for me too. We have tapped Temple Garden. Just got another opponent taking 8 million fucking years to make decisions. Great. I can't fucking wait for this match to take way too goddamn long. Nice. I'm glad they did actual nothing. Even better. Winota. Look at that. I willed it into existence. Great. I love this interface. It's so good. First one, I will play an Agent of Treachery, and I will pay for the... This time I will pay for it. Auto. Well, they're just dead, so... Fuck this card, by the way, chat. Just want to get that out there. Card is an actual mistake. Just like in every conceivable sense of the word, it is a mistake. Should not exist. This feels like a matchup where we'll bring in a Braids, probably the Knight of Autumns. I'm assuming we'll see, bring out the Cathars. This is very clearly going to be like a Grafdigger's Cage. If they have, like, I imagine they're either on that. I could also see, there's a few other, they could actually be using Rest in Peace, but I don't think Rest in Peace is even good in the format, so. Yeah, it's pretty decent. We have an answer to a Grafdigger's Cage if that's their answer. Yeah, play the Llanowar Elves. We could also just be playing this as a 4-3 since we have two of them here. Yeah, I'm just going to play this as a 4-3. Get some 1-1 counters. Sure. It's not nearly as good as last game, but I'll still send it across for 4. Well, now they're probably going to want to block. Alright. So they have a Wrath effect, most likely. Otherwise, they're dead. They have to Wrath or die. That's their choice. Okay, they don't have it. Good. That feels good. Putting a Lotus Field deck where it belongs, at the fucking losers' tables. I have a disdain for... I don't mind Lotus Field combo decks as much. Because, yeah, like, they don't take 8 million years to win the game. They're like, because those decks are proactive. I definitely dislike Lotus Field control decks. I think that those, by and large, are a net negative. And if they're ever remotely competitive, they immediately make the format unplayable for most people. Like, there is a percentage of people who like to play control decks, and we don't like those people all that much. Especially, like, when that's all there is. Because I don't even think control players actually like playing when control is the best thing to play. Because I don't think that's very good Magic. Like, when control is the very best thing, it's just you playing your shitty control deck against a bunch of people playing their shitty control decks that are all tuned to beat decks that aren't control decks. Like, so it just feels like game ones are a joke. It's definitely a mulligan. This is also a mulligan. Just drawing all the payoffs. Can't keep all the payoffs. This is a lot better. It sucked still, but, like, it's better. So we'll put back the Marauders and a Huntmaster. Because here we can go, turn 1, Llanowar Elves. Turn 2, Mage's Attendant. If we hit exactly Winota land off the top, which we have a non-zero chance of doing, then, like, we can get back. So our opponent's on humans. Interesting. I haven't seen a lot of the humans deck. They got a lot of support in this format, though, so it's not too shocking. Yeah, we go and play the Mage's Attendant. So, really, really need to hit, like, well, Winota at some point, like, in the next 2 seconds. Yeah, you got it, I'll take 2. I don't think you could, yeah, like, unless you're playing, like, another big creature here, I don't think you can really, like, afford to be, like, aggressively. I think I can actually hold this in my hand. Because, like, if this was a Jasper Sentinel, I would have easily just gone Magda Innkeeper, but obviously it's not. General Kudro, sure. So I get to draw a card here, which kind of sucks, but... Yeah, you attack with both, opponent. Okay, you attack with the Thalia, you dipshit. Fine, whatever. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, huh? Play a Magda and just a tapped land here. God, I mean, now I don't mind untapped land, because untapped land represents this Huntmaster, and this Huntmaster is good, really good against a deck where, you know, like, Reflector Mage isn't legal, let's just put it that way. That's unfortunate. I don't exactly have good blocks even against a 2/2. Feels like I'm just gonna have to take a licking here for the... So either a Winota or a land probably does it for me. A Brutal Cathar. Brutal Cathar kind of does it in, like, the sense that, like, it don't do it. I feel like I just take General Kudrow. That thing's antheming their board. Like, Adeline's probably not a bad take either, but I really don't have good blocks no matter what. Now we're at the point where I'm going to have to start, like, aggressively trading. Oh, the unnerfed Luminarch Aspirant. It's a good one. It goes on the 1-1. Alright, or it doesn't. Don't listen to me, opponent. I don't know what I'm doing. I've never played a game of Magic in my life. Alright, this feels like I can either go like this, and then, like, chump block here. I think this is correct. This reserves as much of my battlefield as possible, which maximizes Winota draws. But even just, like, a land into the Huntmaster is good. Come on, deck. Give me a solid. That's a solid. Huntmaster triggers, so I get to gain up to 6, which is a big deal. I have a actual relevant blocker now with the Tovolar's Huntmaster, and Lord forbid it flips to Knight, because if it flips to Knight, I think we can win. Still just begging for a Winota. So they're just going to be aggressive. So here, this is going to have to be about doing a combination of conserving our battlefield while also conserving our light. Now we're also, like, to a point where we're desperately trying to conserve our life total. The Magda can go. I do want to keep the Innkeeper. The Innkeeper actually represents me gaining some life. That's fine. Yeah, I have nothing I can do about that, so. Hopeful Initiate. Temple Garden. I think that means we're dead. Yeah, I think that just means, that just represents us dying no matter what we do here. Because we're gonna... Well, that definitely didn't help. So, I'm gonna just have to do a bunch of jump blocking. Yeah, we're dead. This game's over. Magic is so good. Variance, man, it's a hell of a thing. This is again what we've talked about, where, like, this is why I'm not really a big fan of these style of decks. Is that this was, like, really bad for us, and we lost very specifically because we didn't, like, draw the payoff. Or rather, we drew all the payoffs and we didn't draw anything else. Actually, I think it's that one goes out, and I just decided out some agents. I could bring in these other things, but I doubt they're realistically that good. Alright. So far, my opinion of the Winota decks in this format is that they secretly all suck. And that the only reason that, like, they do well is because nobody plays, like, around them. Because, like, I'll be honest, I think on stream we've lost maybe once to these Winota decks, and, like, it wasn't like we lost super hard. We won. What were the games? The games we lost were the games we literally just didn't draw any answers. So, like, so it feels like if you know you're not going to have to interact with your opponents in any meaningful way, then you could probably just, like, count on, like, winning with the Winota deck. But, like, in any case where your opponent just, like, has, like, anything to do, like, it just feels like it goes in the complete opposite direction, where it's just like, if your opponent's playing, like, reasonable Magic the Gathering, then I actually think I'm down to just play. Actually, I think our Scavenging Ooze is just straight up down to Clown right here, but I think we'll play this mage. We drew a 4th land, so I think playing the Mage's Attendant first I doubt they're gonna play anything. Like, the worst case scenario is they play an Adeline and attack this into die. Like, I don't even think that's all that bad for us. General Kudrow, sure. Like, that's fine. And if they attack, we just don't block and we take 2. Yeah, I'll play Winota, attack, and get 4 triggers. Like, that, hey, you should never concede before those triggers happen. You should always wait for those triggers to happen. But I get why our opponent does that. I do understand it. I just think that it's inherently wrong. I will say, I do think one of the things I've noticed so far is that playing the things like Marauders and Agent of Treachery, those seem not fantastic. Like, I feel like every card in your deck should be... So I have 2 looks at a land with a 40% to draw a land on the draw with the combo plus Winota. I'm going to risk this for the biscuit. Yeah, like, it feels like... Like, very, like... Oh, never didn't have it. Like, you should just play all cards that, like, you could cast regardless of whether or not you hit. Like I think the Huntmaster passes a certain check because it enables you to be able to, like, you can cast a 6-drop. Like, reasonably cast a 6-drop. Where, like, a 7-drop is, like, just above, like, the reasonable threshold of being able to cast it, even with the ramp you're playing in the deck. I will say, I've actually really liked this. Yeah, you got it, brother. What's your target? Whatever, I'll make a red. Resolves. Pass. This land doesn't do anything otherwise, right? So I play this, I can make 3 and Cathar that down. I actually think that's actually, I think I just Cathar that down. I made a misplay there, but it's fine. I'll take this. We can just pass the turn back. Elite Spellbinder. That's not going to do it, brother. You can take a Winota. It's a Winota I could have cast regardless. Yeah, again, that's not correct. Because, like, I have 2 triggers, and you have at least 1 decent block against one of those attacks. So, like, you should definitely let the triggers happen before you actually concede. That was our opponent conceding a little too aggressively. Because there is a chance. I can tell you, having played against Winota a lot in Pioneer in preparation for an upcoming event, like Winota misses a good chunk of the time. Like, it's not like they're always, and even when they hit something, it's not like I hit like a Brutal Cathar, I connect for 3, like, but like I guess in one case is that if you know your opponent has a Winota and you're playing a deck that doesn't really have a reasonable amount of answers to a Winota, meaning your deck's bad in the context of the format, then maybe you don't play that. But yeah, I think my takeaway was that, so we played 4 matches instead of our typical 3, but these cards are terrible. Like, you just can't play them. I was really happy with the rest of this, though. I will say that, like, the rest of this felt exceptionally good. I feel like a 23rd land is in order. It's probably, I probably wanted to tap for green mana. So I think it's just a forest. Doesn't hurt to have a basic land every now and again. Boseiju just being stellar because it's free. I don't think it's particularly relevant in the format, but what else could we play? What are some other things we could play reasonably that would help this Winota deck? Ranger class. That's a card. That's a really good card, too. That's the kind of card that you can just play. I do think we need more humans. That's for sure. I think we could play 3 ranger class. I think we could play some elite spellbinders. Though I'm not really actually that big of a fan of an elite spellbinder. Maybe in our board, because it is a solid card to play, like, out of the board. Well, let's look at some humans. I could play Blade Historian, but I think that card is, like, exceptionally bad. Actually, this is a card. I forgot about this one. Creatures you control, as long as you have 3 or more other creatures. So this is a card that really plays into our game plan, like, as it already is built. So I think, actually, we'll play, like, 2 Jetmir. But I still need more humans. Alright. Humans. I feel like we need more human payoffs. Definitely not a deck for Luminarch Aspirant, but this is a card that we should keep our eye on. Thalia. I could see playing Thalia, but it's not really amazing. Yeah, that's the one thing I definitely have noticed a lot, having looked at these deck lists, is that they definitely are missing, like, the payoffs. Like, there needs to be more. And because we definitely can't just play, you know, where we have, like, roughly 11. We should have more. That's good. Basri's Lieutenant. Protection from multicolored. That's not bad. I'm gonna put one in. Not saying we're playing it, just so I don't have to dig it out. What else could we hit? Nope. Yeah, because a lot of cards are like this, where, like, they trigger on attacks, but, like, that doesn't help you when you're, non-archon creatures, create 2/1/1 white human tokens, but that itself is not human. Anything in red? Any, like, red? Pianalar, that's actually an interesting one. So Pianalar makes a 1/1. It synergizes with cards like Magda making treasures. It's both a human, so if we hit it, we guess it's a human, but it also makes a non-human. So I'm gonna set this. This might be one we'll play. It's a card I feel pretty reasonable about trying out. We'll see. It would be really nice if Pia and Kieran Nalar. I think that one's from Magic Origins. It doesn't look like there's any other, like, really big... like, any other big payoffs. This is all non-combat damage, okay. Comes day or night. Okay. Okay. Not really a whole lot. The hell does this do? Nothing. 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 This kind of is. This is similar to Pia Nalar, but I think it's. It becomes a giant in addition to its other types. But it does make a 1/1 with haste versus a 1/1 without haste. I'm willing to try Minsk. I'm willing to have my heart broken by Minsk. Also, I guess does actually play well with Jetmir. So I think Basri's lieutenant is out. I think we trim one ranger class. It's good, but it's not like the end all be all, admittedly. I think we'll try each of these, and we'll try. I think we'll go like this, actually, because the mage's attendant wasn't bad, but it is. I think we'll go like just 1 and 1. These would be the same slot if they were just by themselves. Archon and Elite. I was not impressed with Archon. I don't think that's what this format's about yet. It will be at one point, like, once we have... Because I imagine we'll see the Lotus Field combo deck start to exist. As they add more cards into the format, but... For now, it doesn't feel like it. Alright, so... I think we'll switch it up just for my own sanity's sake. We'll play a couple of matches with Yorian Fires. Stretch my back here. Oh, I feel so good. So this one we changed up a little bit from our Tuesday play session. We added the Moonblessed Cleric, as well as we put some main deck Yasharans in. So they felt they felt like they'd be reasonable. Okay, this is a fairly okay hand. Little on the slow side, but it has an Omen of the Sea, double sweepers. Feels fairly insulated against most things, and the omens will help us dig for the stuff that we don't, for the stuff that we do need. Okay, play a Triome. Luckily, we're in a position where we can play this now, untapped. Okay, so we're up against an Izzet deck. Good to know. From the looks of it, I don't imagine it's a... We'll play that. Pass. We're gonna Omen during the end step. Best case scenario, we hit a red land to cast Anger to clear this up. That way, like, later on, our fires can just shatter cleanly. Though there is a non-zero chance. Oh, it's Dread... Is it Dreadhorde Arcanist? Interesting. That's the sign if somebody doesn't have any more lands. Which, that's what I like to see. Though it does feel like they have a red instant in their hand, which confuses me. I feel like if I was in our opponent's seat, I would probably be, I want that Omnath, but even I'm not that greedy. Okay, well, we'll just play the World Tree and pass. So it's looking like we're going to be a turn 4 Fires. Okay, so they were just being, yeah, that should have just been pointed at me the whole, like, this feels like a game where, like, they really need to just, like, put the pedal to the metal here and, you know, stop kidding themselves. I imagine that's what they scryed to the top. I don't believe, did they bin something? They did. So they binned that off the consider. So yeah, they scryed that to the top. But sadly, our Anger is out of range. At this point. Don't have a counter spell? If they have a spell pierce, we'll just concede, but... Alright, well, we've dealt with the imminent threat. Which is about as good as it's gonna get, I'm guessing. Yep, okay. Well, they're digging for more threats, so that's a good... It's actually a good spot for us. We want them to have all their things like their removal in their hand. Okay, that's the sign of they don't have another land. Oh, they have the other land. Stormwing Entity. I like seeing that when they're tapped out. 2 top, that's not a good sign for us. That is a good sign for us. Play this tapped. We'll start with this on 0. No reason to not just see what we get here. Naturally, a bunch of lands. Yeah, we'll get rid of the Stormwing entity. Okay, that's enough for them. That tells me that they don't have an answer to this, and they don't have, and that they didn't scry more threats to the top. Alright, so this is easy, just bring in our Fries. Our Angers are probably fine, but I think that's the one that I'm more willing to trim. I think I'm willing to trim the Sweepers. Having just, like, these are more likely to get counterspelled. Matter of fact, even so much so that I think I'll even go like that. I think I'm more willing to keep these in. I think I'll cut all the Angers. Excuse me. I don't think we can be this aggressive and keep 6 lands. There we go. That's a Fabled Passage grabbing a mountain. I feel like I can't be that greedy, and I just have to, like... I have, like, plenty of answers in our deck here. Oh, okay. I feel like this still has to just be... Go get a mountain and pass. Mountain. Because there are some of their threats we could just outright, like, go over the top of, even when they're on the battlefield. Damn it, yep, that's fine. Right on time with the... Yes, next turn we'll play the World Tree, and then the next turn we can play Fires. But here, we'll let them, I really want them to play their spells on their own turn here. Sure. I'm hand shuffling my, my full panorama of foil basics, full art deco basics. Yeah, I'm just gonna kill this. Spell pierce that. I think here it's actually the World Tree, right? Actually, if I draw exactly an Omnath next turn, I actually think it's Sparta's headquarters. I'm gonna play around the potential, because either one, I'm gonna get to play the Sphinx. If they tap out, we'll play Fires into Sphinx. But one of the things with Fires that's a little tricky against decks that could have counter spells is that when you have a Fires of Invention on the battlefield, by golly, do counter spells start being exceptionally bad for you. Though you do have to be careful as the counterspell player there, because it's really easy to get tricked into counterspelling the wrong thing. So this tells me that if they have something like Stormwing Entity, that they already had a land in their hand before they made this play. Soulscar Mage and a pass, sure. So I just get to land my Fires of Invention, play a 0-mana Sphinx of Foresight. So, if they want to spend a couple spells dealing with this Sphinx, I'm fine with that. I'm willing to take a hit from the Soulscar because I'm at 17. And we could still just, like, rip an Omnath and just be in a really good position. I'd love to find a 60-card deck that can play Omnath, I think. I think that's a place where I would like to be. What do you got? Okay, you got a pass. Well, ask and you shall receive, chat. I'll play an Omnath. Yasharn, huh? Play the World Tree. Gain some life. I don't think I need this Yasharn, so I'm gonna discard it. Yeah, that's enough. Because this is gonna be an attack for, was it I'll view the battlefield. Yeah, there's an attack for 6, 14, 6, 10, 14, 20. So they'd have to chump block and take 12 and then be dead anyway because they're like just a million light years from being able to deal with everything I'm playing. So yeah, that's a perfect example of what this deck does right there. We just go over the top of our opponents. Again, Omnath feels so good. I really would be interested in finding a 60 card deck that can really just go all in on Omnath. I think that would be so ridiculously good. It's a little slow, but I think it's fine. Well, that makes it especially fine. Snow-covered islands. So this is probably spirits, so this is next to unwinnable. If they're the kind of spirits deck I think they are. Let's play this now. I'm just not interested. It's definitely a matchup where our fries are going to be like really, really good. I'm actually going to keep that. I'm going to keep that too, actually. I want both of those things. The reason that I say this matchup is really bad is that this deck is just like all counter spells and tempo, and it's so good at going under a deck like ours. I'm gonna buy my Yorion. Because like next turn I'm gonna go Shock, play Fires. Golos is our worst card. Like I'm gonna Shock, play Fires, and they're likely just going to counterspell it. Almost no matter what I do. Like, the only saving grace here is that they didn't, like, put a Curious Obsession on something. Alright, yeah, play Fires. Yep, he's punished for not even playing the Omnath, I guess, but... Take 4... Go for the Omnath. That's where they have the other counterspell anyway. Yep, Lofty Denial. Seems about right. I think we're just dead here. Like, because now they even drew a card with that last turn, but yeah, these types of matchups, yeah, this is done. I'm willing to concede. I'm willing to pack it in. Yeah, like that's like the exact kind. I mean, that deck, to be honest, those decks are really, really, really bad, and I would never recommend them. Because, like, they're really good at beating up on decks like this, but they're exceptionally bad at literally anything else. Like, you could, like, because, like, their creatures are generally worse than Winota. They're good at countering specifically the Winota, but, like, you know, they're also going to have to, like, deal with things like Brutal Cathar. Oh, just for Domo, thanks for the follow. Thanks for checking out the stream. Yeah, we're going to be playing a lot of Explorer. And, yeah, so far... there's a mulligan. Awkward to mulligan a hand with double Sphinx. I'm going to keep this and just be sad when I never draw not blue mana. But, I pretty much wrote this game off, this match off, like when we saw they were playing mono blue. I'm gonna grab a forest. Actually, that probably could have been a mountain. Nah, it should be a forest. Yeah, I'm not gonna play my Omen of the Sea into a Spell Pierce here. I'm willing to do it during their turn, but that's for a whole other thing. Yep. Triggers. I want neither of these. Alright. Awkward. Getting punished for playing 2 islands in my deck instead of 0. Alright. Pass the turn. The good news is if they have exactly a Curious Obsession, we can, like, Otawara bounce the target. The problem is, I don't know what we do past that. Besides, like, just lose. Oh, yeah, this is I got a counterspell written all over it. I'm just gonna pass. There's no reason to play into a counterspell here. I mean, other than, like, we're going to lose, like, in, like, 4 turns, but... Yep, I'll cast it. Show me what you got. Nope, okay. I mean... I've kind of priced into keeping that, but... Let's sacrifice one of these, because there's no way in hell the Yorion resolves here. I think I'm willing to keep that. I mean, I'm going to go for the high upside play, which is Yorion. Ah, shock and awe, my 5-mana spell. Yeah, we'll move on to the next one. So, in a matchup that surprised nobody, because it's the only deck we've actually... So, in, like, what is it? I think between Tuesday and today, we've played now 10 matches with this deck, right? No, 9 matches. We've gone 7-2. Our only losses are against that deck. It's the only deck we've managed to lose to. And I'm not surprised by that, because it's definitely not a deck that I care or give a shit about. It's a deck that will show up, and it's a deck that really benefits from the fact that Rending Volley isn't legal in Explorer. Like, as soon as Rending Volley is put onto Arena, that deck goes from being, like, fine against these style of decks to, like, almost unplayable. And, you know, that's a whole other thing. I do think I'm curious about something that I've noticed playing with this deck is I don't think we need to play the Yorion companion aspect. I feel like we could trim that. So I think after this match, we're gonna play one more match with the current version. That way we've played 3. Huh. I'm willing to keep this, but only because I get a Scry 3. This is actually a fairly risky hand, though. And none of this is helping. I feel like I have to keep the lands, though. I just can't, like, keep that anger. Thought sees me, brother. Nope, Voldaren Epicure. Okay. I mean, this is, if there's exactly a Fires of Invention underneath this Buseiju, I think we're in a good spot here. One of these people. Okay, I know it. They're not playing the deck we thought they were playing. I thought they were on, like, just Rakdos Blood. No, they're on Mardu Greasefang. You could tell by the white mana. And this card. This card's terrible with Ob Nixilis. I don't know why people... Like, you could argue, like, if you're playing Kroxa with your Ob Nixilis, like, this card has a place, but, like, other than you can sacrifice it to Ob Nixilis, that's a little bit of a rough sell. Though I do get the logic, but I just don't think Kroxa and Ob Nixilis, they kind of, like, don't play well with each other, has been my observation, at least. Well, that lets me play an Omnath. That's something. Alright. So I got white, green, blue, red. And this also gives me double red. Omnath. Trigger. Draw a card. Heck yeah. So good. So next turn I actually don't think I can afford to play my Buseiju. I could also just be dead, like, right now. That puts a Parhelion in the graveyard. Oh, it's almost a Parhelion. Just as good right here. Shock. Greasefang. So they have, like, a Deadly Dispute to go with it. So this is going to deal 3 to Omnath. They'll crew and attack me for 7, killing this, putting me to 7. And then they'll Deadly Dispute, sacking the Sky Sovereign, I'm guessing. That would make sense to me. I called it, chat. See, I know what I'm doing. I'm not a complete chump. I don't think we can win. Yeah, we're done. Can't play a creature. I could Bousseiju the thing, but like I'm not like gaining ground by doing that. Yeah, it just feels like I bring in the Fries. I bring out the Shatters, so Shatters are bad. The Angers will at least exile everything that I kill with them. Grafdigger's Cage actually doesn't do anything against them. Definitely feels like I could be playing like probably like a split between this and Rest in Peace, because we don't use our graveyard, do we? I guess Cavalier of Flame does, but you know, you could just still like we could still make the argument that like we realistically don't use our graveyard all that much. At least not enough that I would be like so unhappy to have a Rest in Peace on the battlefield. Definitely the biggest danger with this deck, though, is how bad, like, and this goes for any Yorion deck. This is a good rule of thumb for those who are maybe wanting to get into playing a Yorion deck, is that the weakest aspect of your Yorion deck is your sideboard. And the reason for that is, very specifically that because you're, already playing an 80-card deck, siding in, like in a normal deck, you could have, like, I would maybe have 2 to 3 copies of Fry. Not 4. You also, like, in this Fires deck, you're also running the problem where your part of your sideboard is a Wish board on top of it. Which I do think is the correct way to play, if I'm being perfectly upfront, but, you know, that's a whole debate in of itself, we'll say. What is our opponent doing? Thoughtseize. This is an easy take the Moonblessed Cleric. There's only 2 cards that I could possibly be searching up with that thing. Interesting. Okay, I can respect that at least. It's not a bad choice. It's just not the one I would have made if I was my opponent. So here I'm going to go grab a Fires of Invention. Now, I may not play the Fires of Invention. So, by the way, I just want to point out, because like this came up when we were talking about this on Tuesday. The reason that we play this card and not Idyllic Tutor, which is legal in the format, is very specifically because we cannot afford... Yeah, I'll just kill this. I have no reason to not just kill that on site. Is that this puts the enchantment on top of our deck, so it very specifically insulates us against Thoughtseize. Why did they run that out? Like, they knew we had the Fires on top of our deck, right? Yeah, let's play an Urban Utopia. It's crazy to me that this card's legal. I'm pretty sure there's a one-mana version or whatever, but... if my opponent doesn't think that I'm willing to sit here and beat them to death with this 3-2, then they clearly have no idea what the hell's about to happen to them. Play another Grease Fang. Watch what happens. Yeah, that was a weird play. Like, did they, like, just not want to, like, lose out on mana or something? Like, did they feel like if they didn't do that, like, they would be out mana somehow? Like, that is technically true, but, like, it's not, like, a good enough reason to, like, play this face up into a Fry that you saw. Like, if you didn't see my hand there, I feel like if you didn't know that there was a Fry in the hand, it feels like that's an easy play the Grease Fang. Oh, I think they finally put 2 and 2 together that I'm willing to sit here for a while and just crack them until they're dead. They've figured us out, chat. Oh, another Fry? I'll take another Fry. Oh, this feels like they have an answer to this Moonblessed Cleric. So this is a matchup where this card is actually a little bit of a liability. So I haven't talked, you know, so like, the one thing is that, like, to disrupt another combo deck, we realistically need to be able to, like, interact with it. And Fires of Invention is not exactly a card known for, like, giving you the ability to interact with things. Because it very specifically makes it so you can only play cards in your own turn. Come on, Deadly Dispute. Come on. We know you got it. It's fine. This is the other reason to play this card, Chad, is what you're witnessing right now. Aw, big sad. Killed my 3-2. Okay, do they have Parhelion or any vehicles in there? They do not. I think I'm willing to play the Fires now. I'm willing to play Kenrith and attack for 5. This turns off anything that could have like a Thoughtseize. So, and to be fair, we don't just actually immediately die to a like to the Parhelion, because it only hits us for 14. So as long as we're above 14, we can take one crack on the chin. As long as they're dead on the crackback. That's all that's important in that scenario. Alright, well, our Moon-Blessed Cleric beatdown plan was a success. I wouldn't mind trying out the Enigmatic Incarnation deck. We've played that a lot in Historic on the channel here. I'm a big fan of that card. I don't think it's like... That and like Prime Speaker Vanifar feel like they could potentially be good, but I think Vanifar suffers because like Fry is already good in the format, and like so like Fry is just like really good against it. And it doesn't help that it's the world's shittiest birthing pod, and it always will be. Turns out, when birthing pod's a 2/4 creature with summoning sickness, it's really bad. This is a snap mulligan. This is also probably a mulligan. But it's not one that I'm happy about. I just want to make that clear. Yeah. This is better, but I still don't like it. Soken'Zan and an Anger. Sure. Oh, Voldaren Epicure. That's fine. It's tapped and pass. So luckily, if our opponent's just like on the play the little nerds and attack plan, then we can like actually have a fairly successful game plan against that with this current hand, if we could draw another red source, I guess, but currently we do not have a second red to cast this Anger. Take a Moon-Blessed Cleric. Okay, I'll put a Yorion in my hand instead. Could just be dead here. They have a Parhelion plus Greasefang. Doesn't look like they do. I guess, I mean, they could have it still, like... Okay, so we know they don't have Parhelion in their hand, at least. Alright, Fires of Invention right off the top. Fires plus Anger means that I can, like, live for another turn. Oh, now I really, really want it. Let me take just another red source. That is not it. I think that means we're dead. Oh, it was right there, even. I mean, we just have to pass and take 7. It's fair. Well, they have the Sky Sovereign, so if they have the Greasefang, we're just dead. And I get punished for not holding up a Fry. They don't seem to have it. I'm at 3, opponent. Play another 1-drop or something. It's not too many of them. Right on time with the fixing, but play that. Let's draw a card. Love like an Omnath off the top. We do stabilize here at least. It looks like they have a Deadly Dispute, which is a little scary. Yep. So if they hit a Greasefang at any point, we just die. Luckily, we can start holding up Fry, but that's not until next turn. Yeah, Omnath off the top would be our best draw at this point. Don't Greasefang me, bro? Blitzed underdog. Nice. Respect. Okay. Definitely feels like our deck being 80 cards was the problem there, which is reinforcing the fact that I want to try and figure out a 60 card version of this deck. So I think that's what we're going to do right now, is we're going to look at if we can play 60 card Omnath Fires. Because I definitely feel like that is where I want to be, like Omnath Fires. Because Omnath has felt so good. Many of the games we've played, we've just simply won. Maybe this doesn't even need to be a Fires of Invention deck. Maybe that's part of the problem. Like, I don't think we can just play Elementals. Like, maybe we can. Like, do we try that? Maybe we try that, I guess. No, I don't think we can. I don't think that's it. Is there just an Omnath mid-range deck? Is that a thing? I feel like we still can play Urban Utopia. So I feel like the problem with Omnath, or at least rather with Yorion... Actually, you know what? What if we just don't play Fires of Invention, but still play? Because I feel like this, like, I really like all of the things we're doing. Just... yeah, Sharn. Risen Reef. Now, why don't we just look at Elementals? Because I feel like there's definitely something there. It doesn't necessarily need to be a Yorion deck, though. Like, are we able to just play... Like, what if we go like this? We play Elementals. So we can play, like, Thunderkin Awakener. This might be a little too... What other Elementals could we play? Play the Florahedron. We could probably even just go, yeah, like play like a straight up 5-color Elementals deck. Looking at it here, I don't even think that would be like drastically all that unreasonable either. Just sort of, kind of looking through the cards we'll have access to. Probably play, yeah, we could probably get away with playing Giganta. Elemental. Play, so this enables, these both enable us to sort of curve into these 4-drops. I feel like we can also just play like more of the Locus of the Royal. Play a 3rd Yarok. Yeah, like, this feels like we might have something here. Elemental. Any elementals that we could play that we're not playing right now? We could play extra Sharns on the board, I guess, but... Yeah, so, like, then... Because, like, the thing we can do that I do really like about this is we can play Unclaimed Territory and Secluded Courtyard. So we just have like 8, just 5-color lands for our chosen creature type. And it feels like we could get away with at least a couple copies of Fabled Passage in the deck. Just as easy ways to trigger both these Omnaths. And then from like a other land standpoint, I feel like we're like a river. We're very much pathways, I know that. Lands with 7 spots left. Definitely probably playing the Crag Crown pathway. I think we could play like 2 basic forests, a singular plains, just so we can grab it with Yasharn. That puts us at 27 lands. That's definitely too many. Feels like we can trim like the Crag. Trim link. That puts us at 25 lands. I suppose we also got to be careful. We wanted to play Fabled Passage, huh? If I trim the Fabled Passages just down to 2, I feel like we can also just get away with like 1 island, 1 mountain. Just like having access to basics with Fabled Passage is quite strong with both the Omnaths. And this still leaves us with 2. Are there any changelings we want to play? There's one I can think of, which is this one. I think I'm more interested in having it over here, though. Yeah, we could play. I could see us playing Realm Walkers to some good effect here. Just have it in our sideboard as just another value play. And I feel like we could play Chandra, like the big Chandra. Because, like, we don't need, like, Gigantha is just convenient. Matter of fact, I don't even think it's Gigantha. I think it's Kahira is the better card to play here, thinking about it. Kahira. Yeah, play some. I could even see playing a main deck Kahira, but Kahira is just, like, super convenient. And then I do think we can get away with Rest in Peace. Our Thunderkin Awakeners kind of suck when we don't have it, but I think it's fine. And then Graph Diggers. So we're not doing anything that realistically requires us to use our Grave. Like, Thunderkin Awakener can easily just be sideboarded out in matchups where we need to bring those in. Because, like, the matchups where we need Graph Digger's Cage, for example, like we realistically don't need, like... Actually, let's go with 2. And I think we'll go 1 Yasharn and 1 Realm Walker. And I kind of want to play some Fries. Like 3 Fries, and then, like, I think a Melee. That seems solid. That's 4 answers to specifically Winota with 2 Graph Digger's Cage. That seems... I don't know if this deck's any good, because we slapped it together. But, I'm willing to try it. I'm willing to slam my head against the wall with it. Alright, what do we got? Speedway Gym. Okay, well, we got the Ember Cat into Cloudkin. Should probably just go Ember Cat into Kahira here. Play a Forest and just pass. Opponent's on some type of Rakdos deck. Elemental. Play the Ember Cat. can't imagine this is going to live until their turn. And, wow, and a move that surprised nobody. Interesting. Goodbye, Kahira. I just got a dry Arcanist. I imagine this is just... Oh, they don't even have a land. Interesting. Well, just a play Kahira. I don't have an answer for it, it looks like. They probably have, like, fatal pushes and things like that in their hand. What do we got? We got Shock, and then Pass. Fable of the Mirror Breaker, sure. Elemental. I'm willing just to play your Rock the Desecrated here. They could Thoughtseize me twice, but like that also requires them to attack into a 4/6 with lifelink, which I doubt that they're going to do. So, the other worst case scenario would be... Oh, interesting, Ob Nixilis. What would the other worst case scenario be? I think there's a way for them to get that Arcanist past 1 power, kind of judging based on their deck. Yeah, I don't think Dreadhorde Arcanist is it in this format. Strangle, sure. Okay, they're just gonna attack twice and strangle twice. No, they just have 2 strangles. That's... Okay, never mind. That I found the worst case scenario was that they had exactly double strangle in their hand. A line, by the way, that I would have never bothered to play through. Alright, can I draw something good? Naturally, they have a follow-up Thoughtseize on top of it. Fuck me, chat, for, like, trying to do things. Skit plays linear creature deck, is punished by a Rakdos midrange deck, which feels about right. Alright, I don't think I can win the game at this point, because I've drawn way too many lands. Alright, I am willing to concede. I'm bringing the Red Cat melee, and probably the Orvars. I'm gonna leave the Yasharns in. Bring the Realm Walker in. Bring the extra Yasharn in, even. I think I'm willing to take out Thunderkin Awakener, because it just kind of sucks. I'll even take out a Urok. I'm not even convinced we should even be playing Urok, I guess. Like, it just feels like it's a top-end card that kind of sucks and does nothing when it enters the battlefield most of the time. It's really, really good if you have a Risen Reef and it enters the battlefield because it's going to trigger twice. But, like, beyond that, I don't know if it's, like, even remotely good. Okay, well, I'm going to keep this, but not because I think it's, like, an amazing hand. I'm going to keep it because it has all the reasons I built the deck. I do think it's probably, like, not elementals, but it feels like there's, like, I got to find the Omnath deck here. Like, there's got to be something. This can just go grab a forest right away. I'm not going to sit here and try to be fancy. Thoughtseize me. Take the Risen Reef. Or if you have another Thoughtseize / Dreadhorde Arcanist, take 4-color Omnath. Okay, they probably have another answer then. Yeah, I'm just gonna... I don't think I'm interested in waiting around on these. I'll grab Mountain off this one. Because I can play this on Tide Channel Pathway to play Risen Reef, and then have this anyway. So another Black Source. Another Thoughtseize. There's another easy Omnath here. Yeah, just like Omnath Locus of Creation is like one of the most broken cards in Magic, so. Play Risen Reef, trigger. It's not bad, but it's not, like, amazing. I would have loved to actually have hit a land there. Kills my Risen Reef. Nope, doesn't even bother. Alright, I'll attack for one. I'm giving you the opportunity here, opponent. Like, fine, yep. Play this on blue. I'm gonna play the fourth one, or the third one. If you had a kill spell that can kill Risen Reef but not Omnath, now's the time to play it. Wow, we really had to think hard about whether or not to kill the thing that would draw me a card. If you didn't kill it. And if you killed it afterwards, would be exceptionally bad. So it feels like this is still our game to win. Because, like, our opponent's been one-for-oneing through, like, us just having more stuff than them. Play that. I think I'm actually going to play Realm Walker here. Elemental. There's a Your Rock. This card is embarrassingly bad. Play Ember Cat. Would have loved to have hit a 2-drop off the top. Because the way our deck beats this deck is we just, like, 2-for-1 them into the ground. Nice. Like, that's the way we do it. Alright, what do you have? You're reading my Ember Cat. Alright, I'll play a Your Rock, the Desecrated. I will pass the turn. I will play an Omnath. I will watch you kill my Your Rock. Never mind. See, now I don't even mind if I draw lands. So lands are actively good now. Because they'll trigger this thing twice. You know, I'm willing to attack here. If they're willing to try and send that Hive of the Eye Tyrant back across the way, sure. Again, like, fine with that. That thing ate a creature, dealt damage to them. And we have another one anyway, so... So they're dead on the bed. They're dead, and they're not aware that they're dead. Because here I get to just deal them... Like, this just deals 8 to them. I definitely like this Elemental Shell. Yeah, you got it. Still deals 3, and then I attack for 4. I ain't afraid of your Hive Tyrant. So, what we saw in this game was that both players executed their game plan. It's just my game plan involves everything I play draws a card. Where their game plan was they tried to 1-for-1 through my creatures that replace themselves. And that's not a recipe for success. That's what... Like, Thoughtseize was really good for them there, because if they had to play through those Omnaths hitting the battlefield, they would have for sure they would have lost faster. But what you saw there was our opponent had Disruption, but no pressure. And they can disrupt me all day long. The top of my library is, by and large, better than theirs. Just sort of generally, because I have things like the 8 Omnaths. Even like Yasharn is really good against them. Because even if Yasharn is literally just a 4-mana 4/4 that puts planes in a forest, or you know, one or more cards into my hand from my library, like that just improves my chances of top decking better, like pretty significantly if we're dragging out the game, as well as you know, I have cards like Omnath, Locus of Creation, Omnath of the Royal, Locus of the Royal, and that's like they both actively want me to be playing land, like play a land. This is unkeepable. How many lands did we end up playing in this shit pile? 25? Alright, I will keep this, though. I'll keep the territory. I'll put back a Riverglide pathway. This hand's really good if they if they're like playing a card like Kroxa specifically. I'll play this name elemental. Like if they Kroxa us here and we get to play Orvar for free, that's gonna be pretty brutal. Because what we'll do is that'll just be a land for us. Which is a little awkward, but you know. Wow, and the opponents, I have a Bone Crusher Giant as the most obvious thing in the world. Do I play into the Bone Crusher Giant, or I just play a Tangled Florahedron tapped? Honestly, I kind of just like playing this tapped and passing the turn. Stomp me! Right here, pick me, pick me! Pick me, opponent. Oh, there it is. I don't know if you can really get away with that in this one, but sure. Play an Ember Cat. Play a red source. I really, really, really want them to play like what would be a really fun one for us? Sure, that's fine. Like Ob Nixilis would actually be quite cool here if they played it against us, but I doubt that's gonna happen. It's gonna be a blue source. Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna play the dude that says draw a card on him. In shock and awe, you had the removal spell. Okay, okay, okay. Fable of the Mirrorbreaker, sure. Play an Orvar. I'll trade with the Bone Crusher Giant pretty aggressively here. But this just actively makes playing, like, yeah, that's fine. This feels like they're going to take this one. If we top deck exactly another Omnath Locus of Creation, or if they go for something that makes us discard a card. Oh, they're just going to channel, so, they have haste. That makes sense. Okay, I think I'm just dead. Yeah, I'm dead. Unfortunate, but yeah, I don't think this is it. I'm gonna be honest with you, chat. Like, this felt generally bad, so I don't even think I'm gonna bother. Cause like, if we lose that bad to just bad red-black mid-range deck, like I don't feel like we can really take like the rest of that into consideration. The takeaway though is that I really, 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 really want to find Omnath. So, like, still the best card to play. Maybe it is just a Fires deck. Like, I think that's probably just, like, reasonable. So if we're playing Omnath Fires, what are the best things? So, feels like Growth Spiral is probably a really good card here. Especially in a 60 card version. Kenrith still feels like it's reasonable. Cavalier still feels pretty reasonable. Definitely don't need it 4 of with that. With him in this version. Golos still feels reasonable. Probably still an Urban Utopia deck. Probably still an Anger of the Gods deck. Probably still a Shatter the Sky deck. And then, like, I could even see, yeah, I am thinking. Because I feel like we could just play, like, a condensed version of the, play the Sphinx. Like, it feels like I even feel like I could go like that, like, where I move one of these to the board. Probably even move 2 of those to the board. And then, like, we build the land mana base from here. It feels like, you know, like Ketria Triome. Jesus. Probably still play 1 copy of the World Tree. Like 2 Ketria Triomes. A Ralgren Triome. A Jetmir Garden. Probably no more than 4 of those. They can still be quite rough to hit. I definitely feel like we're on like 4 Bark Channel Pathways, 4 and at least 2 copies of Riverglide Pathway. Maybe actually it's 4 of this and like 2 of this. And I feel like actually I think we can just cut this. We play Botanical Sanctum because we're playing 24 with could play like a Breeding Pool and a copy of Steam Vents and probably a Stomping Ground. Probably like 4 of these. So the idea being that these are like very modal for us. And then it still feels like we could play Yasharn in our sideboard. Rather, we should consider having basic lands. Like, I feel like we can get away with 1, 1, 1, and 1. Just like 1 of each. With like just 2 Fabled Passages. But I feel, yeah, we could trim like a Botanical Sanctum. A Crag Crown Pathway. That should put us at, what, 24 lands? I think that's good. That way we still have the Fabled Passage to like trigger Omnath twice. And then I feel like we could go ahead and play Yasharn. Just a good sideboard card. Play some Cages. Play some Fries. Probably don't even need the 2 Shatters. Probably just 1. But yeah, I think like... Do I want to play something like Leyline of Sanctity? I feel like that might be a little too much. I feel like we can actually get away with like a main, like, no, I don't want to play as my companion. Like 2 copies in the main deck of Yorion the Sky Nomad. Maybe just 1. We play 1 copy. I think, and then like I feel like a 25th land, like a Buseiju is probably like reasonable. And we play like 1 extra Buseiju in the board. Probably only need the 2 Cages, especially with the 3 Fries. I feel like we could still get away with some ultimatums. Like at least this one. And probably this one, because our deck is all permanents minus these growth spirals and angers and shit. It's like all of our relevant stuff are permanents. Like that, so that all feels fairly good to have there. Actually, you know what? I don't even know if it's Shatter the Sky. Maybe it's Solar Blaze as our sideboard one. Because the idea being is like all the stuff we would play Shatter against, I feel like we would also just could play Solar Blaze against, and maybe that's just easier to cast. Let's try that out, I think. We'll cut the Shatters, play Solar Blaze, and see how it goes. I feel like we can play Rest in Peace in our sideboard. Like, we'll probably play like a 2 of. And our last thing, I think I want like something that's uncounterable, and I feel like Chandra is probably the best bet. Alright, let's try out 60 card Fires and get our ass just absolutely handed to us. How bad is it gonna be? Let's find out. Opponent's on the play. It's never good for us. I feel like this is actually a keep. We're up against Gigantha. Not really sure what that means, if I'm being upfront with everybody. I can't think of many cards that you'd play this with. I guess there are versions of Rakdos that could play this. Oh, they're just Jund food. Okay. That's fine. Okay, so we gotta think. I feel like this can be blue so that this can be red. Yeah. I feel like we're just gonna pass the turn. I could play Urban Utopia, but I feel like I'm gonna play Growth Spiral. I feel like that might be better here. Yeah, let's do this in response. I'm willing to, if I don't draw a land, which would suck hard, but I'm willing to anger here. Naturally did not draw the land. Maybe, you know, I'm going to wait one turn. No. Alright, deck. Can you just give me a fucking land? I'm playing 25 in a 60 card deck. Like. Nope. Okay. That's fine. Okay. So I'm going to take 3. I'm at a virtual 15, though. Okay, well, that was a land. That's good for us. I'm going to anger. They're going to sack the Mayhem Devil and the Goat to deal 2 to me, but I am going to get to permanently deal with Woestrider. Sadly, they likely just have a Corvold in their hand. Yep, sack, deal 1 to me. And Corvold is probably enough to end it. Like, if I hit, again, if I draw exactly a Fires of Invention, there's, like, a reasonable chance that I could play through a Corvold. Yep, there it is. It's probably sacks with a Forest. Yeah. Because if I could build up to, like, a Ruinous Ultimatum, I could do some real work, but sadly, I can't manage to fucking draw anything. Like, we've kind of just drawn, like, complete shit this whole game. Yeah, we're dead. We're dead. Needed to draw a Fires of Invention. Apparently, we just need to play Tutors in our 60-card deck. Yeah, I'm willing to go to the next game. I feel like we can just go to the next one. Conceal a little bit of what we're playing, because, you know, it's totally not super obvious. I'm not actually a fan of Solar Blaze here. I don't really feel the need to bring anything. You can bring in Grafdigger's Cage / Rest in Peace, but I actually feel I'd rather, maybe the Rest in Pieces are fine. I'll bring in 1 Rest in Peace and 1 Grafdigger's Cage, maybe. No. Don't even need the cage. Bring in one rest in peace. And cut probably here. One. Honestly, part of me just wants to cut a Fires of Invention. I'll cut a Sphinx. It's our least, like, it's our lowest impact thing to do off of a Fires. Play first. Alright, well, this hand has a Fires of Invention, so I just feel obligated to keep it realistically, so. Bonus Mold. Definitely a matchup where I would love to just have Leyline of Sanctity. I feel like that might be necessary in these decks. Like, you may just have to play that card and just sort of suck it up. So it feels like this deck's biggest bane is, like, the fact that, like, Thoughtseize is, like, played. Whether or not it's good is a whole other thing. Because here they're going to Thoughtseize. Now, the other defense that we have is the fact that, like, if they Thoughtseize this Fires, I could just straight up play an Omnath and beat them the old-fashioned way. Or I could draw, like, complete and total shit and just never win. That's the other alternative. No, naturally. Double Thoughtseize on the draw. Sick mana base. Drew my 2 mono green lands. Like, at least the World Tree would fix my mana in the late game. It's in my sideboard. Anything relevant? Maybe I should put a land in my sideboard. That'd probably actually be fairly relevant. Put something like a copy of the World Tree in my sideboard. That's a bold move. Just playing that straight up into an anger. I'm gonna sack that to the Witch's Oven. And we're gonna sack that to that, and then sack that to Witch's Oven. And then I'm going to sit here and look like a fool with my hand full of white cards that I can't cast. Well, I'm like a Fires of Invention / a Fabled Passage / like a bunch of shit away from just being able to play my cards. Oh, that's brutal. Sick. I'm so happy I chose to play this deck. Play that. I don't even think it's worth playing this. I think I'd rather discard it to Fae of Wishes. You know, what would be really good is if we managed to draw a hand that didn't draw, like, absolute, like, dog shit. I feel like then we would be able to... Because I don't feel like we've even gotten a good taste. Like, we've played this matchup so far, and we've drawn, like, crap 2 games in a row. Because, like, our opponent like, I mean, I guess our opponent, they did take the, whatever. Anger of the gods. Fucking kill me already. The good news is that they only have, like, literally everything they could possibly be having right now. So they're going to go to their turn, they're going to sack the food to this, they're going to get to deal at least 1 to me, and they're going to get to draw a card. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Can I just draw fucking anything? Like, come on, like, how many, like, out of my lands, I could have drawn any of the Triomes. I've got a Plains. I've got the World Tree would do it. Fabled Passage. Nope, just another fucking Anger of the Gods. Jesus! Like, come on. Just fucking anything. guess I'm gonna grab this Chandra, because it's like the only proactive play I could have. Doesn't help, they're gonna just jam a 5-5. Like, I'm gonna lose to a fucking Giganta. My deck sucks. Alright, buddy. Grab the relevant card and put the other one on the bottom of your deck. Mayhem Devil. Wow, that was such a hard decision. I don't know how they made it. Right on time. Concede. We're done here. Fuck! Alright, let's draw... Not bad. Let's do that. Let's draw a hand that functions. Let's do that. Let's draw a hand that functions. Can I not mulligan to 5? Can I cast the spells in my hand? Can I not get double thought seized? Because I feel like that's been happening a lot tonight. Play first. Whatever, I don't even care at this point. I got Scry 3 twice. Like, if I don't find anything in the top 6 cards of my deck, then this deck is fucking unplayable. That'll be the conclusion. If I scry all 6 to the bottom, we'll concede the match and move on with our lives. I cannot keep that. I can keep the island. I cannot keep the breeding pool. I guess I can keep these. I can keep all these. I can't keep the anger. This at least, like, has, like, something. Okay. Pass. This is a turn 3 Omnath. That's something. We're up against another Thoughtseize deck. In a situation that surprises literally nobody. The only deck on the ladder is Rakdos. What's crazy to me is that I don't even think these decks are, like, the best thing you could be doing. Well, I'm going to play a Sphinx first. Because if I'm going to play this Omnath, I want to get the value out of it. Please, please do that. Oh, yes. That's just, like, free real estate for us. Don't mind as much. They're going to have to take Omnath. It's the best card in my hand by like a trillion miles. Please do that. If you don't have a land, you got to do that right now. Yeah, I'll play Kenrith here. Feels like it's pretty easy just to jam the Kenrith. Make him have an answer. Probably give this a counter next turn, and then, like... Again, so you notice your chat, like, this has been... It's another game. So I'm going to do this right now. Because what this does is it... well, that's actually a little awkward. I should have done that differently. But, I'll get him for 6. Is that if they're playing the card Heartless Act, then I just put a counter on this to protect it. I'm actually going to cycle this. Okay. Because now Heartless Act can't deal with this as a 6-6. I should have actually played this first, but... Okay, they just have Blood Chiefs. That's fine. Okay, we got a Golos. Which will just grab the World Tree. Soren the Mirthless. Excuse me. Well, never mind. It's right there, I guess. Play the World Tree. Just gonna play Fires and jam this Golos down. I would love to grab a land. What land do we want? Probably a Fabled Passage. Yeah. Fabled Passage. It's good to grab the Fabled Passages. A, just to get them out of the way, but also, it's like once we have the World Tree down, like we can pretty easily just like they just tap for mana on their own, and then later on, if we have an Omnath in play, we can cash them in for some value. Croaks. I'm gonna dump that. They're Croaksing here, but I doubt that they have an answer to this Golos. They do not. Okay, so I get to clean up this battlefield at least. That's kind of nice. Anger. Attack. This. Oh, I actually messed that up. I messed that up. Sadly, I could have also gone for like a Fae and did some other things. Luckily, that actually insulates the Fae now. I'll just play that, gain 4 life. I think this one's pretty over. So here we've managed to like... We've managed to get ahead enough that, like, I think we're pretty good here. They could play this Croxa, but, like, and get rid of our Urban... If they have exactly a Croxa plus a Thoughtseize, maybe they come back, but, like, the Golos just getting value. Yeah, like, they just have to deal with Golos. And when they're dealing with the Golos, they aren't dealing with the Omnath. Well, I think that just wins the game, right? Yeah. Cavalier. Yeah, they're dead. Okay, so when our mana functions and when we don't draw like absolute total dog crap, we manage to win games. Huh, I don't think we need to sideboard here. Maybe we take Solar Blaze out, I guess. No, we leave Solar Blaze in, I think. So my only thought would be to bring in 1 Cage, 1 Rest in Peace, and bring out some Solar Blazes. Maybe that is correct. Maybe we could trim an Anger. Maybe we just trim 2 Angers. So this could deal with an onboard Croxa at least. So that's not nothing. I think I'm fine with this, yeah. Where we just like... We get to have each ways of like just sort of cleaning up like the graveyard aspects of their deck, as well as the Grafdigger's Cage, stopping them from casting the cards in their graveyard. That doesn't come up too much, but Croxa, when we're on the draw especially, can feel particularly good. I am fine with this. This is a hand that if they have a Thoughtseize, like, they can take our Fires, but we're gonna get to draw... A, we're on the draw, they took a mulligan, so like a Thoughtseize is not exactly a positive exchange for them. It's no different. Yep, take the Fires. It's a pretty easy Fires of Invention. This is gonna go get an island here, and then we can go island, forest, cast this, put the Jetmir into play, see, and then we can sort of piece it together from there. This actually, yeah, I could understand they might be thinking about that Solar Blaze. Oh, they're gonna go with the Sweeper. I guess I can understand that. Like, if they have a really... If their hand is banking on only a handful of threats, and I have a Sweeper to deal with them all, I can totally understand why they'd go that way with it. Or the other alternative is that means they have a way to deal with Fires of Invention, like a Thoughtseize or something. We hit a mountain. Here we'll just pass. There's no reason to... We have 2 mystery cards, but... It feels like if I was our opponent and we have a Thoughtseize, like, that's just going straight after an Omnath. Or if you have another way to make a blood token. It's also argument to, well, there's a Thoughtseize. Yeah, you got it. If I was our opponent, I would probably take the Omnath here. Because Omnath is good in either scenario, whether I have a Fires or not. Especially because you can see, based off of the lands in my hand, that I can cast the Omnath. Like my mana has lined up in a way. Yup, that's that. I agree with my opponent. That was the correct take. Because Fires of Invention is only good if I have a thing to slam on the battlefield with it. Alright, so they're getting priority from their blood token. They're going for the blood token. I'm just going to resolve my thing. Well, chat, there's an old saying that Thoughtseize can't beat the top of your deck. And, you know, that saying is very true. Play Fires, play the Omnath off the top. Draw a card. So, if they have an answer to Omnath, that's somewhat fine. They drew a card. So if we're playing the game of 1-for-1 your way through an Omnath, I will gladly abide by that game. Trespasser, sure. Not bad. Eat the Omnath. Why don't we start with Growth Spiral and see what we hit? Fae of Wishes. Interesting one. I think I'm willing to not play an additional land here. No attacks. I'll pass the turn. I'm willing to block. And if they have a removal spell, I think I'm fine with that. Okay, so they have the sick 2-for-1 myself to deal with the Omnath. Yes. What is in my sideboard right now? Probably nothing that I'm actually interested in grabbing this turn at least. Well, I suppose if I grab Chandra, Chandra can, because neither of these are elementals, right? Chandra's -3, okay. That puts a threat on the battlefield. Oop, I made a mistake there. I actually should have played the pathway. Awaken Inferno. Minus. That'll deal with both of these. I suppose that didn't play around Hive of the Eye Tyrant. I will say that. That's one thing that didn't play around. Opponent is willing to concede, though. Okay, so when our deck functions, it works very well. So that part I see, I like it. I like that when our deck functions, it does well. So that seems like a good place to be. I think we'll finish up on this deck tonight. It's almost 10 o'clock. We've been going for almost 3 hours tonight. So we'll probably finish out our set of games here with this one and then pack it in. Alright, we're on the play. We got a Sphinx. No 2-mana play, which kind of sucks, but we can dig for 1. Submit. So we would like lands and 2-mana things, and this is both of those things. Sadly, oh, that's a red land, so I think I want it in this order, even, so. Worst case scenario is that we can't cast the Omnath off the top of our deck, but okay, we're up against a Rafine's Tower. So like Esper stuff. Lord knows what they're playing. Another Rafine's Tower. Well, as it turns out, we did not need to cast this Anger of the Gods. I feel like our opponent has a Thoughtseize, and they're trying to decide whether or not it's time to play. No, it's a Moonsnare prototype. Honestly, I'm more confused than I was a minute ago. Are they like Esper Greasefang? Okay, yeah, they're Esper Greasefang. Ledger Shredder. Yeah, you got it. Well, yep, they got the Parhelion, so we could just be dead next turn, so that's good to know. I'll play a 4/4 and then lose. They have a Grease Fang. This one could be over right now, so... Actually, I suppose, like, if they Grease Fang, attack with everything... Like, I could play through that. I will say, this card has been... I have been impressed by this Ledger Shredder card. I don't think I could win, if I'm being upfront with you, chat. I think this is a loss. Pretty sound loss. So we'll grab our Mountain. I'm going to play the Cavalier and dump both the cards in our hand, because I don't think this Kenrith is going to be any good here. A Fae of Wishes. A Fae isn't bad here. We just need, you know, something that isn't... Like, if we had a Fires in play, this Fae would be really good, because we could go grab, like, Ruinous Ultimatum. Deadly Dispute, sure. So, if they have a Grease Fang, the game's likely just over. They have a Tezzeret. It's very similar to a Grease Fang. Not exactly the same. Are they going to make this thing into a 4/4? That would be quite terrifying. Reckoner, Bankbuster. Yeah, this card seems really strong if it goes unanswered. It feels like it's more a standard card based off of, like, the fact that Fatal Push is, like, legal here. I feel like this requires me to look at my sideboard here. What do I got over here? I got Buseiju. I could Buseiju something. I have Genesis Ultimatum. I feel like that's going to end up being the play. Solar Blaze ain't going to do it here. Yeah, so I need blue, 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 red, red, green, green. Okay. So I've got blue, 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 red, red, green, green. Okay, I'll keep that. Go ahead and cast the old Fae of Wishes. Wish up this Genesis Ultimatum. Pray that it's enough. Oh, gross. I forgot. That's either player. That's disgusting. Where's the nasty emote? Well, I can't attack with the Cavalier anymore, which kind of sucks, but hey. And now they could just dig for a Grease Fang. Yeah, I'm definitely digging what our opponent's deck is doing. Yeah, that's probably enough. Even has a Mox Amber. Nasty. Now, in all fairness, we're not, like, immediately dead. This, I think we'll just trade with a 4/4. Okay, we're not immediately dead. We are practically dead. Red, red. Nasty. Alright, this has to be a really good Genesis Ultimatum. This is not a really good Genesis Ultimatum. This is a we die Genesis Ultimatum. we had hit an Omnath with a couple of lands. Ah, nice. Right, there it was. The next card down. Nasty. Yeah, because if we had hit an Omnath, we would have at least gained some life and did some damage, but yeah, like, we weren't winning that. Alright, so this is definitely a matchup where I want to bring... I'll bring in one Rest in Peace, I think. And then leave one in my sideboard. Actually, you know, I'm just gonna bring in both Rest in Pieces. I don't know why. I'm not gonna be cute about this. I'm gonna take out the Solar Blazes. I'll leave... I think I'll take out the... I'll even take out the Angers, I guess. I'll leave one in. Maybe one's good. But, like, yeah, that was brutal. Actually, I think I want to bring in the Yasharns. Yasharn shuts down things like treasure tokens and cards like Deadly Dispute, which I feel like could probably be relevant enough to matter here. And then I think I'm going to trim just a Singleton Cavalier. Cavalier's a good card, but like it feels like I'm like... I don't even know what role I play in the matchup, to be honest with you, because it's like, it's Esper Greasefang. This is probably fine. Let me go grab a Plains. Actually, I fucked that up. That's fine. I should have just played the Triome and passed. I'll grab the Plains. I have to commit to it now. Oh, that was actually a really big mistake. Because I could have just, like... I should have gone Triome, Sanctum, spiraled into the Stomping Ground, fetched a Plains. I'd have been in a much better position then. I'll play the Spiral. Just gonna play Sorcery Speed, because I pay the 2 life. I'll just play the Rest in Peace down. Now we have a hand that's at least very Thoughtseize proof. So this will luckily shut down the Parhelion stuff. It's not much better at anything else, but it'll at least shut that stuff down. I doubt they brought in... Actually, I suppose they probably did bring in any, like... I imagine they have, like, Void Rend or, like, something to that avail. We'll play that. We'll play a Sphinx of Foresight and pass. I'm willing to take 4. If they attack. Yeah, I could see them playing, like, probably, like, Fragmentize, Void Rend, that kind of stuff. Feels like a Ledger Shredder. Or is it like an Otawara? Brazen Borrower, sure. They know this exiles the graveyard, like, when it enters the battlefield, right? I'm getting the impression that they don't know that it does that. Or that they have a counter spell, I guess. No blocks. I do like Fry here a lot. I'm gonna play it. Attack for 4. Just play another Sphinx. Getting to scry 1 twice is a big deal, and just, like, putting more power and toughness on the battlefield is where I would really like to be. Deadly Dispute, that's fine. Because luckily Emery's just, like, a bad 1-2, and then, like, Greasefang is just a 4-3. No blocks. I have no reason to block right now. They're dead in 2 turns. Like, this Brazen Borrower is going to have to probably, be on the defense here. Fae of Wishes. What's in my sideboard currently? Is there anything I want from my sideboard currently? I wouldn't mind an Anger of the Gods here, so I think I'll keep this. Yeah, we'll Fae. Grab have an anger. Play anger. So this will clean up this Grease Fang. Now we're not on a clock anymore is kind of the benefit here. And I'm actually going to hold off on attacking. I have no real reason to play into this Brazen Borrower. I'm getting the opportunity to trade. I guess they get to draw a card, but like that's not even that big of a deal. But now I can be on the aggressive. Sure. So they can't cast that. I'll bottom that. I'll keep that. That's fine. Cast this guy. I think we're just gonna play this Fae of Wishes down. Play this. We can dump the Utopia into Fires to pick it back up. But just like having another blocker seems like that feels like how we're gonna lose this if we do lose it. So let's pick them up. Now here we can just sort of, luckily we've been able to kind of lock them out of like getting their combo kill. It feels like, unlike the Mardu version of these decks, where it's like, those decks feel like they could pretty easily, like, win through a lot of this stuff. Yeah, it feels like that's probably just too little too late, huh? Like, yeah, you got it. I feel like we're in a position now where it's just like, well, cool. Well, those don't cast this, so... So they can't cast these. I can fry this, so yeah. I think we'll probably wait on the bouncing the Fae. I don't think we really have incentive to do it right now. Yeah, they're dead. Yeah, it feels like you, because like here we were able to like pressure them plus like disrupt their combo specifically, which feels very strong. Yeah, I think you could just run this back here. Yeah, it feels like Fry is going to be, having played a lot of, now that I think we've played like between Tuesday and today, and then even some off stream that I did on Sunday, like playing an Explorer, it feels very much like, it feels like Fry is going to define a lot of like what threats are going to be good against like in the metagame, because it feels like every deck can afford to play it, which is like pretty terrifying if you're like a person on a blue/white creature deck. So play the island. I'd really like to not have to play this as a land, but I think I'm going to. That's disgusting. Yeah, if I play this as a land, then this is free to just be a red source, but... Probably could have actually mulliganed this hand thinking about it. Or Fiend's Towers. They didn't really think about that. I'm just gonna fry that. Like, I don't feel like giving them the value that they can gather with that card. And it lets me put off having to play this as a land for one more turn. Emery, Lurker of the Lock. Sure. Okay, 3 lands at a Thoughtseize is what I like to see. Looks like that Treasure Vault's coming back to haunt them a little bit. Alright, we'll play a Bousseiju, and we can pass the turn here. We're just gonna Growth Spiral. Fortunately, Growth Spiral actually does not have a very positive interaction with Pathways. So Pathways, when you're putting them into play, it's really weird. Putting a land into play is not the same as playing a land. They are two I'll do this. If I draw a Fry, I think I'm interested in dealing with that. Okay, I didn't draw a Fry. Because now they can just, like, generate a mana with it. Which is a little scary. Well, I don't think we're in a bad position. Like, this is fine. Take the Omnath. I actually don't think Omnath was the pick there. I don't have white mana. Yep. So the scariest possible thing here is if they are able to... Like, so for me, the best thing for me to draw right now is an untapped land. An untapped land, that's a little weird. Okay, well, they didn't hit a Parhelion, so that's good. This feels like you're target your Mox. Play your Mox. This, you got a follow-up play? Follow-up play would be pretty brutal, like a Tezzeret. I feel like if you had a Tezzeret, you would have played that before you played this Emery. Played the second Emery, at least. Greasefang, yep. They got the Greasy Boy. Fires of I'll play a Fires here. Fires is actually quite good. As long as they can't put a Parhelion into the graveyard next turn, we will be fine. But next turn we can at least do it. Now we can, like, Fey for an Anger, deal with this stuff, and then, like, that turns off the Amber on top of it. That's no fun. Doesn't mean we're not dying this turn, or, like, getting put so far behind that we wish we were dying this turn. I don't think they have any vehicles, right? They do not. Sure. That feels like a bad take, but alright. Easy attack with the Greasefang here. They know I have Anger. They saw it last game. No blocks. They have no artifacts to hit. Nothing. Lands. I want lands here. Still just doing the Fey play. We're just going to go Fey. Grab an Anger. Play the Anger. Here we'll play the Triome. Sure. So luckily now we're in a position where their Mox is also turned off, which is really good for us. Straight to the bottom. Looking for something impactful. That's not exactly it. We'll play the Golos, though. This is 7 mana to do the thing, so this puts the land into play tapped. Grab the World Tree. Play this. Cast this. Not in a position where we can bounce it, but there's no reason not to play it. They haven't really demonstrated a reason for that's totally cool. That's actually actively really good for us, but I don't think they... I get why they did it. They're at 10 and I have a 4-4 coming at them. Like, it's pretty easy, you know, just do the, you know, bounce the thing, but putting cards in our hand just unlocks Fey of Wishes. Because depending on what they do, this Fey of Wishes is going to grab a Ruinous Ultimatum and just sweep the other side of the battlefield entirely. It's starting to look very much like that's what it's going to do, so... Right, because that's, I got 2, 4, 6, 7. Those are 7s, right? Yes. So I can activate that Bank Buster and draw a card. Go to our turn. Botanical Sanctum. Yeah, we'll go ahead and discard 2 cards. Cast granted. So they have a Parhelion in their graveyard. We should keep that in mind, I guess. So I think, actually, it might be in our best interest we go for, like, Genesis Ultimatum here. I actually think it is. I actually think this is the better bet. Here we'll go ahead and... Let's grab a land. Cast Genesis Ultimatum. That's probably enough to prompt the concession. Punished for grabbing the planes right there. But here we get to eat the graveyards up, which is exactly what we want to be doing. Because now we've cut them off of comboing, right? So like that avenue is no longer available to our opponent. Here I will hit this Tezzeret down to 2, because like if they want to minus this, they'll have to kill the Tezzeret. So it's just like one less threat, and they're actually have just lethal damage on the battlefield anyway, so no more worrying about combos. Yep, it's fine. Like I think I don't care. Like honestly, it's just like a mild inconvenience more than anything else. Yeah, I just realized they can't tap that for mana. That's neat. So like here, what they ran into was that they couldn't sack the treasure, and they couldn't tap Spire of Industry for mana. So the way this works is our players can't pay life to activate abilities. They have to pay 1 life to do this, to tap it for colored mana. They can't sacrifice non-land permanents to activate abilities, so that means they can't sacrifice treasures. So basically, they played a colorless land, which left them with, you know, not the mana they probably needed, and plus, like, you know, we're just gonna be just outvaluing them for the rest of the game, regardless. Well, that went quite well. Again, feels like when we drew properly, it felt like it was good. I'm not sure if it's better than the Yorion version, because Yorion plus Fires is good, but like, I doubt that you need to be on the companion to make this work. Definitely felt like our sideboard slots came up more, and they were more relevant in the 60 card variant. So I think I like this. We'll probably continue to iterate on it. This card was terrible. I think we just like suck it up and play Shatter this guy. Like, it's slightly easier to cast Solar Blaze, I will give it that credit, but, like, it's not worth the ridiculous, like... You know, I guess, like, the argument is, like, Solar doesn't kill Yorion or Golos, but it does kill Kenrith, Cavalier, and Omnath, and Sphinx, and, you know, like... There were, like, threats that, like, against them were our opponents, like, where it didn't kill it, so it's just, like... And we've been seeing that Ledger Shredder a lot lately. Anger felt particularly weak, but I think we still need it for, like, this is like a necessary to, like, not just get ran over by Winota game 1. Like, we just sort of need to have something like a kind of just a cheap sweeper. Be interesting to see if we could maybe try some other things there, but that's gonna be it for tonight. We've been going for 3 hours. Of course, appreciate everybody checking out the channel. If you haven't already and you want to stay up to date with my content, you can go ahead and hit that follow button here on Twitch, or if you're over on YouTube, you can hit that subscribe button and click the bell. Of course, if you want to support my content even further, you can subscribe to me here on Twitch. Absolutely appreciate any support, you know, from y'all. Next stream. So when is our next stream? So normally tonight is the budget battle, which I do have deck ideas, which you can find at my Moxfield page. Some of the deck ideas I've put together. So next week, this Sunday will be an off day, because I believe we may be live this Sunday. Depends on if Drabby Noops is back from Atlanta or not. But I can guarantee our next streams will be next Tuesday and Thursday, and the following Sunday. We will be live as well. Of course, like I brought up on the Sunday snapshot, for my week, starting tomorrow, I will be playing in tabletop events. I'll be playing Modern, Jeskai Murktide tomorrow. You can find the deck list on my Moxfield page, as well as I will be posting on Twitter the deck list I'm playing, as well as I will be probably doing round-to-round updates there for each match I play, what I played against, did I win, did I lose, so on and so forth. And if you want to check that out, you can type !Twitter in the Twitch chat, where you can find me, of course, at SaltiestGaijin on Twitter. And give me a follow if you want to stay up to date there. And then come Saturday, I will be playing Pioneer, where I'm going to try an Abzan mid-range deck list that has been kicking around in the back of my head. So I really want to give that a shot. I desperately want Siege Rhino to be good. And then I'll be playing more Modern, another set of Jeskai Murktide. And again, if you want to stay up to date on that, you can follow me on Twitter at SaltiestGaijin. Of course, again, I appreciate y'all checking out the stream. I appreciate y'all for watching. I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your night. We